Welcome back to CryptoBanter.com. I'm Crypto Man Run, coming to you each and every day at 10 a.m. EST. And you're probably looking at your watch and going, well, it's not 10 a.m. EST, so what are you doing right here on my YouTube screen? Well, let me tell you what we're doing. We've got a very special broadcast here for you guys today. Today, I've got a very special guest. I've got CZ from Binance. He's my guest, coming to me all the way from Asia. And we had to coordinate the timing so that the timing would work for CZ because he's in Asia. So a big show today here with CZ. I've got lots of questions to ask him. And then if we do have some time at the end, because this is a call-in station, we're going to let you guys call in and speak to CZ. So if you enjoyed this content, of course, do what we need to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Or like I say, you can do as my friend Ivan says and do something like this.
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. 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 Now.
Yep, you've got to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button, because that bell button is what actually tells you when we're coming live. And like you see today, we're doing an emergency broadcast or a special broadcast. And if you hadn't hit the bell button, you wouldn't have known about it. So let's get on with this show, because I know we've got so much to speak to CZ about. CZ, welcome back. So good to see you again, my friend.
Hi, Ryan. Good to see you again. And hello, everybody.
We used to see each other a lot at crypto conferences. We used to travel a lot and have fancy dinners around the world. How are you coping without the business travel?
Yeah, actually, I thought I would like it, but it's been a bit long. So I actually kind of miss travel again. So I guess, you kind of miss what you don't have. I think, I really miss the sort of getting together to meet everyone once every couple of months or so now. So I think it's been pretty long. But, I think it's tough. It's a tough year for everybody, and we'll get through it.
Do you feel like you're doing much more work now, that you've got more time to focus introspectively into the Binance business, now that you're not spending so much time on airplanes and meeting projects in different parts of the world?
Yes, absolutely. I think, well, basically now I just do conference calls all day, and I think you get a lot more time. And then when you don't have calls, you have nothing else going on, so you just think about stuff. So before, you always like running between airports and stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot more time to go introspective. And you also care much less about how you look, so just shave your head. I think somebody commented about a mohawk hairstyle. So yeah.
I was about to say, I think you're looking very good. You're looking very relaxed. You seem to be more relaxed. You seem to be less operationally involved in the Binance operation, certainly to someone from the outside. Is that really the case?
Yeah, that is definitely the case. So I'm not really involved on the day-to-day operations. So we got pretty good leaders and we got pretty strong people managing the day-to-day operations. Like I don't even know when we're listing what coin, which projects going on to Binance Launch Pool. I typically just find out on Twitter or through one of the chats that they somehow randomly include me. So I do a lot more just talking with people, just to see like who are the strong performers, who are the bottom performers. How do we hire people, etc. So I do much more on the softer side, much less on the day-to-day operations.
Much more on the culture and the leadership side, and much more on the operations. How many people at Binance report to you? What is your how many people report directly into you? How many people do you talk to on a daily basis at Binance?
I think direct reports, I have about 12 or 14, depending on how you count them. I do have an assistant now. She also reports directly to me, but she's like just my assistant. And then I also talk very regularly with about 40 to 50 people. I sort of communicate one skip level, and then but when I talk to them, it's much less about operational stuff. It's more about like just random future leadership culture stuff. So I do a lot of coaching as well. So it's more on those fronts.
So, wow. I mean, I remember when I had a business, and we had a big staff count. We had at one point about 1,500 staff. And I remember that was quite a stressful thing, stepping back and hoping that things would happen the same way that I wanted things to happen. Don't you get that stress? Because the reason why I asked that is because I spent 10 years coaching the people that I wanted in the management positions on my management style. You haven't had 10 years. I mean, you've had 3 years, 4 years, depending on how you look at it. Isn't it a little bit stressful taking a step back? And at the same time, you've got these massive market moves that are happening. I want to talk to you about that in a second, but I'm sure that your numbers are going crazy. And I'm sure that means that operationally, you may not be as slick as you want to be. And that's just growing pains.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I think I actually got over the sort of stressfulness of stepping back. I kind of got over that like probably more than a year ago, and even before that, I was involved in. I'm not a very hands-on manager anyway, so so that part is actually okay. But we do have some emergency chats when those groups when those groups start ringing. That's usually not a good sign. That usually either means our system's busy, our system's like flooded, people waiting, something's wrong. But even when I go into those chats, I actually can't really comment much because I don't actually know what's going on, because they're talking about very detailed system like gateways, caching mechanisms, routing stuff. Like I don't even know some of those terminologies anymore. So look, you just gotta rely on experts. So I do get a little bit of the anxiety, but because I'm not an expert, there's actually not much I can do. So I just have to step back.
Give me a feel for the size of the Binance operation now. How many countries do you physically have offices in? How many staff are you around the world? I want to get an idea for this empire that you're running.
So actually, I actually don't know of any offices we have. So we do have staff do gather together sometimes, but much less so in the last year. But before the COVID, we don't have any permanent offices. People meeting some teams meeting Starbucks once a week. Some people meet like they rent a temporary office, and we try not to know about it. So we don't really know when they meet, where they meet. Those are just local details that they organize. And what we care about is really just other results, right? So look, we have a project, you got to deliver at a certain time. Is it delivered or not? We're going to launch a feature. Is it launched or not? Is it of high quality or not? So we care much more about those kind of stuff, and much less about where people meet and stuff. So I think last count, we do have staff in about 50 plus countries. And they move around a bit. Even in COVID, they still move around a bit. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to track where they are, even for me.
Tell me about the stresses of CEO of probably the biggest exchange in the world. Tell me about the stresses in 2021 for that CEO. What are the things that keep you up at night? It sounds like you've got an incredible team. Certainly on the outside, you've got an incredible operation. You've been hacked. So I'm assuming that your security systems are quite tight. But what is it that stresses a CEO of a crypto exchange in 2021?
I think actually, so to be honest, I'm usually not that stressed. So I mean, we have a pretty good operation, and it's most of the time there's not much I can do even if I'm stressed out. So like I don't stress out about it. I try to get involved in the things that are not urgent but important. So basically things that slightly have a slightly longer time horizon. So like what kind of strategic projects should we do like 3 to 6 months or 12 months from now? So that's kind of our long-term horizon. That's as much as far as we can see. So I don't get involved in the day-to-day stuff. We don't have super long stuff. We don't have like 3-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan. We can't plan that far in this industry. Things just change too much. So, but I get a lot more involved in our leaders leading effectively. So are they hiring the right people? Are they hiring strong people? Are they doing performance leadership, talent management, this type of things? So I get a lot more involved in that, and then a little bit more in the sort of high-level strategic direction of the company. Are we going to enter a certain market? Are we those kind of stuff? So so to be honest, what I'm involved in is much less stressful. The sort of emergency stuff, like say systems really backed up, really busy, a lot of people complaining on Twitter. So I get into the group. I just try to figure out to what extent the problem is, just like a user, and I just try to relay the message to the community. So it's not that I'm actually involved in fixing the issue. I'm really more like the coordinator or the communicator. So it is a little bit stressful sometimes, but I think we got a pretty good handle on things now. Yeah.
Okay, so less stresses and more excitement about the future. Tell me about the future. Tell me about the things that excite you about A, your business, but B, the industry going forward. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And guys, just if you are watching this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That's how we circulate this content to the community. And today, because this is not a normal broadcast, this is an emergency broadcast or a special broadcast to accommodate CZ and his time zones. Not many people know this is happening, and I can see the numbers going up, but we need your help. It's been a great honor to have CZ here. Very difficult to get him on the show. So please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and tell us, CZ. So tell me about what you're excited about in 2021 and even beyond 2021, 2022, 23.
Well, I think for the next couple of years, now we are basically in a discovery territory again. Bitcoin broke the previous all-time high, which was there for 3 years ago, right? So 21 or 20,000 US dollars ish. So now we're in the 30,000 plus territory, and so we went to 42 and coming back. So I think this time around, we see a lot more users and a lot more institutional participation. So now, before this is the peak, now this is the foundation. So now we're above the previous peak, and we're kind of exploring in the discovery territory, and we see a lot more new applications, DeFi, other dApps, etc. So I think this time around is actually really interesting. So for me, for us, we're just trying to make sure that our system can handle the next wave. So I kind of predict that we're just seeing the sort of a flat part of the wave. The big wave haven't come yet. So when the big wave comes, we gotta have our system's already struggling a little bit here and there, to be honest. So we gotta get the system up to the next level. So that's kind of what we are anticipating. And I think 2021, 2022, 2023 are like, it's gonna take 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years for this sort of cycle to hit the max, probably to hit the peak. We don't know. That's just one scenario, but we're ready for a worse scenario. But that's the scenario that we want to prepare for.
Do you see a 2 to 3 year bull market from this point? Do you see a bull market going into 2022 and 2023? I mean, you've got an inside track because you're seeing the number of signups, you're seeing the type of people who are coming in. Do you see like a sustainable 3 year bull market now?
I definitely think so, but this is my personal opinion, right? So I could very well be wrong. But in the history of Bitcoin, if you look at the Bitcoin price in 2013, it broke the $200 all-time high, and then it went to 1,000. And then that took about a year and a half. So it takes some time, but the market was much smaller. The market cap, I can't remember how much it was, but it can't be more than $1 billion back then. So smaller market caps rise much faster, and then we saw a big drop from 2013 from $1,000 to like $200 in 2014, 15-ish. And then took until 2016 to break that high. And then in 2016, we passed 1,000, and then it went to 3,000. In 2017, went to 20,000. So we see a 20x jump over a 3-4 year period. So I think that now it took 3 years to recover from the 2017 peak. And then so now we're in discovery. It's going to take, I think it's going to go another 5, 10, 20x. We don't know. And if that happens, it's going to take a couple of years. So we'll see. Yeah.
So CZ, I'm interested to know the type of accounts that you guys are opening. Are you guys opening, are the people that got burnt in 2017, the guys that came in, made a lot of money and then lost it very quickly and promised they'd never, ever get back into crypto, are those dormant accounts becoming active again?
Yes. So we see a lot of those becoming active. And when those accounts become active, our customer support get overwhelmed because they all forget their password. They lost their 2FA because they changed the phone. And they forgot the YubiKey even sometimes. So our customer support is handling a lot of forgot password, lost account type of issues. And I personally had to help a couple of friends who just came out of the blue. I didn't even know they had accounts on Binance. They said they're my personal friends. They said, "Look, lost my 2FA." I'm saying, "Well, let's do a video chat to make sure that it's you. It's not just your phone getting hacked." So we definitely see a lot of those. We do see a lot more institutional signups as well. So we're seeing that corporate KYCs, corporate verifications are coming through, and they typically move large amounts as well. We also see a lot of retail. Yeah.
So I want to look at, so you're saying retail, you've got all the 2017 guys, not all, but a big portion of them coming back. And then you've got a whole lot of new retail accounts. What I'm reading into that is that there is retail penetration, because we keep saying that the retail hasn't come back. But from what you're saying, retail might actually be here already.
I think retail is back. So I think for most people misunderstand Binance's market. We actually run a two-sided market. The institution there's a group of institution traders that do market making. So they provide liquidity. They put orders up there for people to trade against. and those guys trade a lot more against retail guys. Retail guys like have a couple $1,000. They come in, they just want to buy, and they don't care what the price is. Well, they don't care too much if they have a little bit of slippage here and there. And so we have both. They actually grow together, but we see a lot more old users coming back alive, and then we also see new signups. But we haven't reached yet the fastest sign up pace in end of 2017, early 2018. So into early 2018, we actually had to pause registrations because there was like 250,000 users signing up the previous day. We paused it. We had to shut down registrations, and then we opened it for an hour. 300,000 people sign up within an hour. So we haven't seen that kind of peak just yet. But the total number of new users coming in has been much higher. So in 2017, that peak was only like 1-2 days, and then just kind of dropped away, right? So, but now we're seeing sustained, still below that peak, but sustained high volume signups, sustained high volume new users and returning users.
Is it a mania, or is it not yet a mania? I mean, I'm sure we can say that 2017 was a mania. Is this a mania?
I don't think we've. So based on the data I can see, I don't think we've seen the mania just yet. So I think that this time now, even though the price have caught up to the previous peak, but people are coming in much more steadily, and we haven't. So on a day-to-day basis, we don't see a super big spike of new users coming in from. So we haven't, even though the price goes like this, we haven't seen the user signups take that kind of peak. So it's still going like pretty steadily up.
So we can. I mean, that's a great sign. That could mean that we're not actually in bubble territory yet. We're just in healthy growth territory, as opposed to what we call bubble territory, or the territory that we're all very scared of. Let's talk about the institutional side. So my impression of Binance is that Binance is a retail exchange. And my impression, based on the fact on what you read, is that a lot of the institutions are using Coinbase or GDAX or Coinbase Pro to do institutional buying. Does Binance position itself or cater for the institutional investor?
Yes, so we absolutely do. So I think that there's a couple of different misconceptions about Binance. People think Binance is a retail exchange. We do have the largest retail user base in the world. That's true. But we also do service a equally large number of institutional investors. And also the other misconception is Binance is a crypto-to-crypto exchange. But Binance is actually the largest fiat-to-crypto exchange as well. And in most jurisdictions, we are the largest fiat to crypto exchange, even in that local jurisdiction. So even if we take our local market share, we are bigger than any local player there. So those are the two common misconceptions. But we do have we have a decent sized team servicing just institutional clients. So the institutional clients want a slightly different set of features. They want sub accounts. They want different kind of KYC. They want different API limits. They sometimes have different regulatory requirements in terms of custody, insurance, etc. So we actually do have products catering to those services. But unfortunately, the first impression comes first, and people have an older impression of Binance. Yeah, it is what it is.
You created a brand, and now you're living with a brand. Let's talk about these institutions. So I break up the market really into 3 or 4 parts. The first part was retail, and they were buying in on the dream of Bitcoin becoming this digital money. And then there was this crypto fund manager type person that came in. Those were the Wall Street misfits, the geeky Wall Street people, and they came into and they started these funds. And then you got the institutions, or the first wave of institutions coming in, which were call it the insurance companies, call it the family offices, call it the traditional funds, Guggenheim, coming in and buying crypto. Are you getting that plus a whole lot of corporates? When I say corporates, I'm trying to get a feel for the Michael Saylor type companies and how much his marketing effect has actually penetrated into the market, and B, how many traditional funds are actually starting to come into this, not these Wall Street misfits that have started crypto funds.
Yeah, so for us, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to tell, but the way I classify institutional or just traders is there's 3 or 4 types. On the institutional side, there's really 3 types. There's one type which is the corporate treasury or the holders. So they basically just buy and hold. So they take Bitcoin as a large part of their treasury. So they just hold this position, and they typically hold for years. Those guys, it's very clear to identify. They just buy, and they buy doesn't matter what the price is, because they buy like $100 million, $300 million. In Michael Saylor's case, he bought like $1.5 billion. So with those kind of amounts, you can't buy in one day. So you just got to constantly buy a little bit at a time over time. So
did Michael Saylor buy on Binance?
Actually, I can't disclose that. We I actually don't know. I didn't check the data. He tells me that he looks at the Binance website all day long. So I assume that he probably have an account, but we actually don't look at the client data. But I'm sure he's based in the US, so he probably does have an account with Binance US and probably Coinbase and the other US exchanges. When you're buying that kind of quantity, they probably do buy on multiple markets at the same time. So those guys, they buy for long periods of time. They don't change size. They don't buy and sell. They just buy, and then they just accumulate. And then there's a second type, which is the trader type. So they buy and they do very active trading. They buy and sell. They try to make money on the price movements, on the volatility. So they try to buy low, sell high. They use leverage, etc. So those guys are the active traders that they want to trade with their own money. There's a third type, which I mentioned before, which is the market makers. They typically provide liquidity for retail users. And the fourth type is the retail guys. So we do see all of those types on our platform, and they're all growing. They're all growing really, really quickly. So it's really hard to say which one is leading which, and sometimes we can only infer which type of accounts they are based on their trading behavior, kind of big data analysis. But we don't really look at specific accounts and try to do things like that. Yeah.
I'm glad that you actually keep the confidentiality of the accounts, even in-house. Let's talk about the competitive landscape. And I'm not really talking about the centralized exchanges, because I don't want you to talk about your competitors in that space. But let's talk about the centralized exchange versus the decentralized exchange. And the reason why this is so interesting to me is because I think you were one of the first guys in the old days to say, you wanted to launch the Binance DEX. And that was, I think, the birth of the Binance chain. And then we saw Uniswap and SushiSwap and getting all these volumes. How do you see the future of the centralized and decentralized exchange landscape today?
I think they're going to coexist for a while to come. I think the last year the DeFi, the AMMs, liquidity pools are a great invention. I mean, if you ask me, even early last year, is stablecoin trading going to be a thing? I probably would not have guessed that. So it's really good that there is now a very viable, and it's a slightly different model than what I anticipated, to be honest. So this shows that no one can, well, at least I can't really predict the future. So it's great. And then luckily, we actually started working on Binance Smart Chain early in the year, not knowing this actually, but we wanted to have the smart contract compatibility. And that actually turned out to be a very easy way to latch onto the DeFi innovation. And then Binance Smart Chain offers much lower fees. So Binance Smart Chain is doing now 40% of Ethereum volumes. And this Binance Smart Chain is only like 4 or 5 months old. So that's really, really good. So I think they're going to coexist for a long time to come. I mean, the hardcore sort of crypto guys, the crypto OGs, they want to hold their own funds. Great. So then you use DeFi. But if you look at the mass adoption, 99.9% of the population are not in crypto just yet. And for that to happen, they're using fiat to buy crypto, and DeFi don't service fiat. So those guys are still going to use centralized exchanges to get in. So I think for that, I think the centralized exchange is going to continue to serve a fairly important role for quite a while to come. But I think both will exist. DeFi is not going to go away.
How long do you think this decentralized exchange friendly goes on without KYC? Because I think one of the big things that people go to Uniswap for is because there's no KYC, there's nothing. And how long do you think that the authorities will let these protocols exist without KYC, and can they even stop it?
Yeah, so that's a really, really tough question. I don't know the answer to that one. And I mean, basically, a lot of the DeFi, there's not a clear way how you can force them to do KYC, because people can deploy a smart contract anonymously. You don't have to tell people who you are. And there's already a number of smart contracts that's DeFi that's deployed anonymously. So I think when if people are pushing that too hard, I don't see DeFi doing KYCs at all, ever. So I just don't see that happening. But on the flip side, when trading through DeFi on Ethereum, you can still trace through the transactions. You know which on this address this coin converted from this this token to another one, and you can actually track it. So it actually offers a much higher degree of trackability. The tricky part is going to be when privacy coins, when privacy blockchains are going to allow this DeFi. That's going to get really, really tricky. So I actually don't know how that problem is going to be solved. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think the governments will come down. I already see them getting kind of nervous here. I want to move the conversation to talk about Michael Saylor. Certainly he, for someone who's been around for such a short period of time, he's really become a hero. I mean, he's really become the hero that we need in this industry. He seems to be doing a lot in this industry. Not only that, but I found that he has not only he understood it in a very deep way, but he can take stuff that most people can't communicate very easily, and he can communicate it very easily. And then I was listening to another interview of his where he spoke about, everyone refers to Bitcoin as overtaking gold and comparing it to the gold market cap. And he broke it down and he said, no, this is not actually about gold. This is actually about every single asset that people buy as a safe haven. So he has this vision. Tell me about your feelings around this man in the community and how much he's adding to the community.
Well, I think he's adding a lot to the community, which is great. I just really wish we discovered. Well, he discovered Bitcoin sooner, or we discovered him sooner, or whoever pitched him.
I don't know if your systems could have handled it if Michael Saylor would have discovered it. If I compare it in 2017 to what we have today, I think it's okay that he discovered it today.
Yeah, no, I think, well, I'll handle him. I'll personally handle his trades if our system couldn't handle it. But so I think he understood. So he got into Bitcoin in April in 2020, so less than a year. So, and then he's fully converted. As you said, he has an amazing ability to communicate concepts in a very clear and special way where people resonate with his messages. So also to be honest, when I was about less than a year discovering Bitcoin, I was saying similar things in a less impactful way, but I was very eager to sort of tell everyone about Bitcoin. So I think he's at that stage. And the other thing is he's already a billionaire for 8-10 years already, or maybe even longer. And he's also
remember that he bought 11,000 Bitcoin for his own account before he started buying for MicroStrategy, and he disclosed the price at which he bought it. So, I mean, you can imagine that, you're talking about he was a billionaire before. He's certainly a billionaire afterwards. This was the tweet where he actually disclosed, and he said, I personally hodl 17,732 Bitcoin at under $10,000 each. So, you want to talk about a billionaire? There's a billionaire right there.
Yeah. And then so he's also the CEO of a listed U.S. publicly listed company. So now all the other listed companies are looking at him and say, well, we're a listed company as well. Do we have to manage our treasury this way? So he's very impactful in that position as well. So before, look, if he just buys 17,000 Bitcoins for himself, that's a different message to the institutions. So I think he's doing a lot to bring. I think his impact he definitely has a huge impact in helping bring the institutional treasury guys, and those guys buy and hold. So those guys don't trade. So and the guys who buy and hold really push the price up, because when they buy, the supply becomes less. So
and they take their coins off exchanges, or they leave their coins on exchanges.
It depends. So I think different corporations in different countries do it differently. Some do just leave it on the exchanges. Some do ask them. Some large holders actually ask us to move that into a cold wallet that they can monitor. They actually don't want the keys. We can do that for clients as well. And some move into a custody solution. Some just move into a multi-sig solution that hold on their own. Depending on the amount, depending on the maturity of the company, depending on how comfortable they are with crypto. So yeah, I think we see different strategies. Again, it's the same as normal users. Some hold on centralized exchanges, some hold on their own.
Do you think that in time, Michael Saylor will start buying Ethereum and maybe even trickle into other alts? And I'll tell you why I ask this, because everyone comes in and says, we're a Bitcoin maximalist and everything else is shitcoins and everything else is alts, and we're just here for Bitcoin and we're never going to buy anything else. And then they realize, just like Raoul Paul realized, that it's actually all about network effect. And what you want to do is you want to buy network effect. Now, Bitcoin is the network effect for digital storage of wealth in dollar printing cycles. Ethereum may or may not be the network effect for supercomputer systems. Filecoin or Arweave may be the network effect for file storage. Do you see him actually one day buying into Ethereum and all that other stuff?
I would say definitely. But we gotta understand that the reason Michael Saylor, at least from the public information that he disclosed, the reason he's buying is really for treasury management. He's a billionaire. His company, he's managing his company's treasury, and he wants a safe haven asset that will transcend any individual, any organization, etc. So he's looking at 50, 100-year time frames. But everybody's portfolio is not I'm pretty sure when you're managing billions of dollars, you don't have a single portfolio just for long-term holding. You probably have a small percentage for short-term, high volatility investments. You may invest in other companies for equity investments. You may buy some tokens later on once you're comfortable with cryptocurrency. You might buy Ethereum. You might buy BNB. You might buy other coins. But I do think that Bitcoin for the foreseeable future will serve as the global reserve for cryptocurrencies. So that status of Bitcoin is unlikely going to change. Ethereum do have the strong network effect already, and Ethereum is really just a application development chain. So they have the smart contract capabilities where you can develop different DeFi. And Binance Smart Chain is a copy of Ethereum, but much cheaper on fees. So we hope that cheaper on fees and higher performance will get to mass adoption for applications. But I believe there will be many other application-specific or smaller blockchains, and different people invest in different things. And even but the large portfolio guys, if you're a billionaire and managing like a company treasury, you may invest in other different type of assets for different purposes. So I think it is very likely that Michael Saylor will invest in other cryptocurrencies sooner or later. But now I'm not sure if he's finished accumulating Bitcoin just yet. So I think he's still focused on Bitcoin right now, which is good, which is fine. Fine.
You know, he's only got 17,732 in his own account, and then whatever MicroStrategy's got. All right, well, that's a great segue into the next section that I want to ask you about, and that is really CZ and what he likes. And I know it's tough for you because, you know, you're the CEO of an exchange and there's a lot of projects and you don't want to be biased towards certain projects. But I want to ask you a few questions. And I think the first thing is, when we last spoke, you told me that everything you had was invested into crypto or Binance, and you had no more fiat. I got to ask you that question again. We're talking now 3 years later. And is CZ still 100% of his everything invested into crypto, or have you started to diversify your assets a bit? You scared me the last time. When we met the last time, you scared me a little bit. I mean, you had conviction, which was amazing, but you know, you always think, what if this did go wrong?
Yeah, I think things turned out all right. I think we spoke last we spoke was a couple of years ago, and then we went through a crypto winter. Things were at one point in theory, my net worth probably dropped by 80-90%, same as Bitcoin, same as BNB, etc. So I think right now things turn out okay. So I do not hold any fiat pegged value. So I don't hold fiat currencies. I don't hold US dollars. I don't hold any fiat currency. I don't hold stable coins either. The two coins I hold are just BNB and BTC. That's for me personally. Binance, because for all the coins we trade, people pay commission fees in those coins because a lot of people don't know about BNB. So Binance holds pretty much a little bit of every coin that we list. So Binance holds a basket, a fairly even basket of the coins we list. I don't see so for me personally, I don't see a need to divest. I can handle, my lifestyle is pretty simple. I don't spend that much money. Even if my net worth drops by 90%, I'm okay. I think I'll survive.
Didn't you tell me once that you cut your own hair to save time?
I did cut my hair like 2 days ago. So I think a couple of guys commented on my hair in the chat. Are you saying that CZ's portfolio is, other than Binance, which of course you're a major shareholder, etc. But are you saying that your portfolio right now is BNB and BTC, and you're not holding any Ethereum or any other alts in your personal capacity? Yeah, so so that's correct. In my personal capacity, the problem is I don't have time to look at other stuff. So it's just time consuming, and I don't have time energy to look at other stuff. Binance lists a lot of different coins. We have a research team that does it. I don't do it myself. And also, I don't invest in any other companies myself. So I don't hold any equity in other companies personally. Everything I do is through Binance. So Binance have a Binance Labs, Binance X, the Binance investment team. Binance invest in a very large number of companies or projects in the space. But I don't do any personal investments. I don't have any personal investments on the side.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's a great answer. Let's talk about projects that you're excited about. I mean, no doubt that you're excited about BNB and you're excited about Binance, and I'm sure you're very much excited about FTX and Trust Wallet and all the companies that are in the Binance stable in one way or another. But let's look beyond that stable and say, when you look at the market today, what are the projects that most excite you?
So I think basically, what's already getting traction kind of excites me. On the early stage projects, it's really hard to tell. So I think automated market makers, liquidity pools, those things are gaining traction, and those things are very exciting. And I think they offer a different way of trading. I think wallets is a very fundamental infrastructure in this space. So we invest in multiple wallets, and so we're also always looking at wallets that we have not invested in. I think payments is a really interesting application. That's the most obvious use case that hasn't taken off yet in any meaningful way. So we're looking at that as well.
Who wins in payments? Because initially it was supposed to be Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin. Then it was supposed to be Bitcoin with Lightning, and it's not Bitcoin with Lightning. Then people said maybe it's Litecoin. It's certainly not Litecoin. I've got I'm looking at a whole lot of others as we go down the list. One of the ones that I've got on the list may be Terra Luna, which is the Korean payment coin, simply because they've shown that they've got great adoption. But in your mind, who wins the payment race, or who are the front runners in the payment race?
So I think before, most people are going from the crypto to fiat payments route. So the way they're approaching it is they go to merchants and say, look, I can give you a system that you can accept crypto. So that's going direct to merchants from a pure crypto perspective. I actually think that's probably the wrong approach that we've been trying all along. The problem with that is the current crypto adoption is too low. I think we're probably at 0.1% or 0.2% population adoption total. So only 0.2% of the population have some kind of crypto. And if you go to a shop, say, look, install this device, and it's going to increase your 2 out of 1,000 users may use it, the merchant's going to laugh you out of the door, right? Like, why would I want to bother with that? And all of those guys have fiat. Most of those guys have fiat. So, and then without the merchants accepting it, it's really hard to sort of get the user numbers up. So there's merchant payments hasn't taken off. What we are trying to do now is the reverse. Say, look, we now have a Binance card. It's a Visa card that you swipe. The merchants don't know about it. The merchants it's a Visa card. They accept fiat. And for the users now, they can. So we're actually we're latching onto a traditional payment rails. So we're now latching onto credit cards, but the user just swipes the Binance card. They pay in crypto. So now we can allow the user side to grow, and the merchants, they don't know about it. They don't really care. But once we get to like 10%, 80%, or 50% user adoption for crypto, then the merchants will accept a crypto direct payment method. So now we're trying to divorce the reverse way. We're going from fiat back into crypto. We're latching onto fiat methods and adding crypto into there. So we're trying a number of those things, and so we don't know if it's going to work. To be honest, it may fail, it may work. I honestly don't know. But we're going to try different things and see how things work.
All right, so I've got 2 more questions for you. I think the first question for me is, we've had a lot of great news about Bitcoin, about crypto in the last 6 months, and that usually happens when you enter into a bull market. There's all this great news, and there's more and more and more great news. We have Michael Saylor today. We heard that the Harvard endowment and many endowments have been buying crypto for the last year. What was the one bit of news or the one stream of news where you turned around and you said, "Wow, that I didn't expect"?
I'm not too sure, actually. Last year there was a lot of different news that kind of strings together. There was the pandemic that caused the market crash in March, and then everyone's questioning why is Bitcoin not a safe haven asset. And then in May, there's a halving, and then people question why did the price not go up immediately? Why did the price not double overnight? And then we had a lot of quantitative easing, which basically will have inflations later on. People say, like, why is people not buying Bitcoin in a big hurry? But look, those things take time. Those things take a couple of months to materialize. And then later on, we see Micro Saylor is buying with corporate treasury. We see Paul Tudor Jones getting in, a lot of other institutions getting in. And looking back, that stream of news all makes sense. What I didn't expect was actually honestly the DeFi part. I honestly did not imagine DeFi would be the automated market maker for trading stablecoins getting this big. I didn't think stablecoin trading is going to be such a big thing, but it is now, and it works, and people use it. So we also provide a solution there.
Are you concerned about Tether? I mean, are you concerned about all these allegations that are going on? I mean, I know there's been a lot of FUD around Tether. Does it concern you sitting on an exchange?
So I actually don't have any more insights on Tether than anyone else. I have not looked at the bank accounts to see if the money's there or not. It's a black box to me, as to any random or to any regular person or to anyone. So but the things as an exchange, everybody thinks that, I don't know why people think that we were somehow working with Tether, or colluding with Tether, or we control with Tether, or we're printing Tether to pump Bitcoin price up. We don't hold any Tether. Our users hold Tether. What we make sure is the Tether that you hold, we make secure. But if Tether do have some issues and Tether price drops, there's not a whole lot we can do. We, like, as a company, Binance itself does not hold a lot of Tether or our own principal money, right? So we do have some Tether income in fees, and then we convert that into BUSD mostly. So I don't know much. I don't know anything more than a regular person. I mean, perception-wise, I don't want to comment negatively about Tether, but perception-wise, if you're worried about it, then use BUSD, use USDC. Those are fully audited, regulated entities issuing them out of the US. So those, in theory, should be more reliable in the sense that the reserves are there, at least. But everything have different risks.
Yeah, 100%. I thought as much, and to be honest, look, there may be some FUD in Tether, but we're talking about a $25 billion asset that may be 80% backed or 90% backed in an economy, in a crypto economy, or crypto market cap of over $1 trillion, or I don't know where the market cap is right now, but you're talking about 2.5% that is maybe 90% backed. I don't think that's devastating. But that said, it could maybe do some damage to the ecosystem. So look, before I let you go, and I think you knew this was coming up, I've seen you nervous about this, but if you were to choose 3 tokens that are going to do unbelievably well this year, then your top tokens that you're watching, not BNB, not Bitcoin, not the obvious ones, which are the ones that you look at and go, wow, these are great tokens?
I actually honestly don't know. I wish I had an answer. I honestly don't know. I also can't really comment about it, even if I know the answer. But the real situation is actually I really don't know. I think basically, if you're looking at 3 coins, I highly recommend just a basket strategy. Invest in diversify in a few different ones, and hopefully one will do 10x or more, and then the other 9 can all go to 0 and you still make money. But I do highly recommend holding Bitcoin, at least for a portion of your portfolio allocation. Of course, our goal is to make BNB outperform Bitcoin. So that's kind of otherwise we would just buy Bitcoin and be done with it, and not work so hard and on Binance, etc. So that's our goal. So that's the thing I'm focused on. We'll see if we can. We made that happen in the first 2 years. Last year we may have fallen behind Bitcoin a little bit in the past little while. But Bitcoin sometimes have a bull run, and it does take a lot to catch up. But I think we'll continue to build and see if we can outperform it.
You know what one of my mentors taught me is when you're dealing with real investments, you never look at them on a 1-year time horizon. You look at them on a 10-year time horizon. So even if you've underperformed in the last year, that's not the test. The test is to zoom out and say, how did you perform over the last couple of years? And I think when you look at the last couple of years, I think BNB, the token, BNB token has been an absolute amazing investment. Really amazing. CZ, thank you so much. I know we are over our time, out of time. It's so good to see you. I don't see you at conferences anymore. We don't get to go out and have dinner. So I guess I have to do it right here. So thank you so much for your time. I know it's a bit late for you, and you've made the time to come and do this. I really appreciate it. And so does our community. So guys, if you have appreciated this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, give CZ some love. He has taken some time late at night to be with us. Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ren. And thanks everyone for watching. Yeah, thanks. Cheers.
Thank you, my friend. Be well. And that was CZ from Binance, and an amazing interview. Really, so much insight. I encourage you guys to share it, watch it again. I learned a lot from that interview. So nice to catch up with him and catch up with him here, as opposed to catching up with him at a conference over dinner where none of you can listen to all of this. And that's exactly what Crypto Banter is about. I'm bringing my crypto journey to you guys, and I'm teaching you how to trade from my mistakes, and we may make some mistakes together, but ultimately we're all in this together. So I'll see you again on the hour, 10 a.m. EST, on our regular programming. That's still happening today, and we've got a huge show for you guys today. I'll see you again in a couple of minutes. Until then, if you're trading, trade well, my friends.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research.